Hello everybody, this is Rob. The reason I'm making this video today is I wanted to bring to light an extreme value out there in the photography world. This is the Canon EOS Rebel T3. It was introduced in 2011 and it's been marked down quite a bit. It's on clearance now for $299, which is just really, it's an incredible value. And I wanted to walk you through this, walk you through some of the images and talk about the camera a little bit, because it's so reduced that it's you can't pass it up. So whether you're looking for a second body in case you have a failure in the first body and you want a second body as a backup, or whether you're new, right? You've been taking pictures with your smartphone, whether it's your Samsung S4, S5, or whatever, your iPhone, and you're ready to move up to the DSLR world, or you had a point and shoot and you're ready to move up to DSLR. I would really highly recommend this camera. And let's talk about this camera a little bit. And here's the deal. This is the camera, and I just took this inside of Walmart today. This is where it's on clearance for $299. So you can see here the normal price is $449. It's marked down to $299, and this is the bundle. Okay, it comes with the 18 through 55 kit lens, IS, image stabilization, so it even has the IS on it. Again, for $299 you just can't beat it. And this is just a little placard that's under plastic. It's a little blurry, but again, it's because of the plastic. But it just shows here the name of the camera, and it also has the EFS 18 through 55 kit lens with image stabilization. Okay, and this is why I really highly recommend this camera. It's a 12.2 megapixel camera. So you might be thinking, hey Rob, all the new cameras, they have many more megapixels. Why are you recommending something with 12? And that's exactly why I'm recommending it. As I said before in previous videos, the camera companies are going a little bit squirrely with the megapixel race. They're making the photo sites so small that it's difficult for consumer grade glass to resolve the images. So an obscure treasure are these older cameras like the Nikon D3100 and this Rebel T3, because instead of approaching 20 or 24 megapixels, this one has 12.2. So if you're on a budget and you need to buy consumer grade glass, you can't go out and buy those expensive L lenses like Canon's upscale professional series lenses are designated the L lenses, and they're extremely expensive. So this here, you've got 12.2 megapixels, and you can buy consumer grade glass and get astounding images with this camera. And I'm going to walk you through some images at Flickr. I just ask your patience here for a second, and I will show you just how good these images are. So again, and this is what it is. It's got the CMOS sensor and a Digic 4. So this is pretty new, the 4. The latest iteration, I believe at this time, is the 5. So this is only one generation old. Again, we're going back to 2011. It's only 3 years ago. So this is still a fairly new camera. And again, $299. Okay, and it already shows all this stuff here. Okay, we're good here. Let's go on. Okay, so I've exhausted that. Let's go to these different sites. Okay, so here it is at Amazon, and it's rated 808 customer reviews, and I'll do a mouse over here. You can see the amount of stars it got. 648 of the 808 give it 5 stars. Okay, and you can see the delineation here, how it's broken down. It's overwhelmingly positive reviews on this camera. Okay, and the average up here, as you can see, it's 4.7 out of 5, which is tremendous. And again, this was listed at $399. It was $449 and went down to $399. Now it's at $299, and that's with the bundle. That's with the kit lens. So again, you can't pass it up. I mean, you shouldn't anyway. Okay, now this is the one it kind of got knocked a little bit here at Digital Photography Review, DP Review. It only got 69%. And here's what they had to say about it, and I disagree with this completely. See, what happens is just like Car and Driver magazine. They knock everything that's not a Maserati or a Ferrari. Okay, and DP Review has fallen into that same trap. Okay, if it's not a D4 or a 5D Mark III, well then it must be garbage. Okay, and they're way off base with this stuff because they've forgotten the average consumer. And through my videos by now, my whole thing is directing these videos toward hobbyist shooters, right? Not pros. We all have, either we're university students, or we're mothers and fathers trying to support a family, or we have a 9-to-5 job in some other field. So photography is not our profession. It's not how we make our living, but we enjoy it. We're serious enthusiasts and hobbyists, and that's how I always approach the photography, okay? But these people here, okay, again, if it's not a D4 or a 5D Mark III or whatever, then to them it must not be a very good camera, and it's unjust the way they treated this camera. So let's say who it's good for: beginners who want a solid entry-level camera for general photography. Not so good for photographers who focus on video. Okay, if you're gonna, I'd never shoot video. I've never shot video with my DSLRs, because if I want to shoot video, I'll get a dedicated video camera, and that's just my philosophy, period. Okay, I've never been a fan of having video on DSLRs. Okay, it's not good for extreme low light photography. Of course not. It's an entry level camera. They're not going to put all the bells and whistles and high ISO. It's the same thing you're going to find on a 5D Mark III or a D4. It's an entry level camera, and it's implied, of course, it's not going to shoot great in low light. So why they knock it for that is beyond me, because it's implied. It's understood as an entry level camera, it's not going to deliver super high ISO, right? So you got to know that going in. Okay, and here is another one. This is ridiculous. Anything that requires fast continuous shooting. No kidding. It's an entry-level camera. It doesn't have super fast autofocus where it can acquire, real fast autofocus frame to frame. It doesn't have a huge buffer, so if you're knocking out in continuous, right, click, 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 it doesn't have a huge buffer. It's not going to write it to a buffer, and then the buffer can write it to the card later. That's why it's an entry-level camera. So again, this for them to rate this. See, this is what I mean about the disconnect between these so-called pros, right? So the pros rate it 69%, no award. And generally here at DP Review, they give cameras either silver awards or gold awards, but this one got no award. But if we go back here again, look right here. 648 gave it 5 stars. So this is the disconnect between professional reviewers and the average person. The DP Review is just completely out of touch. Okay, I'm beating that horse to death, and it's time to move on. Okay, so I wanted to show you some images from the camera. And this is clean. This is it looks like an old Art Deco style building here. But this is, again, Cam Studio, let me throw this advisory out again, as I always do. Cam Studio really degrades image quality, okay? So as I'm seeing this on my monitor right now, it's very clean. This is a very clean image, but the way you're seeing it on Cam Studio, it's not going to be that clear. So I ask that you trust me a little bit on this, and just trust me that it's a clean image. Okay, and this is the kit lens. This is the T3 with the kit lens. This is a $299 camera you're looking at here. Okay, this stairwell, again, it's the T3 with the kit lens. Very clean. Again, kit lens, very clean image. This one, the photographer took it at ISO 1000. Okay, so it's grainy, right? We call that noisy. Noisy means grain. So you can see this is grainy, but maybe it could have been that's the effect he was going for. Okay, so I don't want to criticize the photographer, because that might have been his intent, is to show the noise in the image, right? Like an old school throwback. This is what you might have seen from the 1960s or 70s. It was really grainy, as in film. So maybe that was what he was going for. Again, so we talk about glamour and boudoir. This would obviously be glamour, right? A photographer took this young lady out to a park or something, and he was shooting her in the park. So this is like, it's glam, but of course it's a working man's glam. Okay, it's it's not a real expensive wardrobe, and it's not an expensive lighting setup. You know what I mean? It is what it is, and it's people like us, just the average person, going out and enjoying photography. So this is a good image for this camera. Now, I was really surprised with this image. This is quite a beautiful image. I mean, it's really, really awesome. And this was shot at ISO 1600, which is clean for 1600. But again, it's probably well illuminated too. So that was the difference between this one and the one at ISO 1000. That was a dark room, and this one here was pretty well lit to begin with. So, and obviously that's what makes an image grainy, is the lack of light. Okay, it's a low light situation. But this photographer had decent light to work with from the beginning, but he just chose to shoot at 1600. and it's a really beautiful image. But this is with the kit lens. Okay, so you're talking, this is $300. That's a $300 image, and it's phenomenal. That is a spectacular image for a $299 camera body, including a kit lens. And this is with the kit lens. This is not a prime that he or she bought afterward. This is the kit lens. Okay, this is a really clean image. You know, it is what it is. It's a very beautiful image. And this here, I thought this was pretty striking, right? It's black and white, obviously, but that's also the T3 with a kit lens, okay? And it's just great. So here's what I'm going back to, and this is why I say the camera companies, it's kind of strategic how they do things, and I'll explain why. So your first camera, your entry-level DSLR, you buy the body, right, and it comes with a kit lens, whether you go Nikon or Canon or Pentax or whatever, you know, Sony, Fujifilm. But what they're doing is they're hoping that you buy their product, because the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to go out and buy a prime, right? They count on you wanting to start building up your inventory of glass. So this is how they trap you. So you get your first body, you get your first prime. It's generally like a 50. Then you go out and get a 35 prime. Then you might go out and get a zoom, or you might get an 85 prime. So before you know it, you'll have 3 or 4 lenses of that particular make, right? So you have, let's say you have this Canon body, and now you've got a collection of Canon glass. Well, you can't use that Canon glass on other manufacturers. So now what they've done is they've kind of trapped you into one make. So now that if you want a new body, you're going to stay with, for example, if we're using Canon, you're going to have to buy a Canon body because all your glass now is Canon, right? It's got the Canon mount. But that's good, and this is why I'm saying this. I'm a Nikon guy. I've been shooting Nikon all my life, but I will say that Canon's glass is cleaner than Nikon's glass. I think dollar for dollar, Canon really leads the industry in image quality. The quality of their lenses, especially the L, the real premium professional level glass, is just amazing. Nobody can touch Canon's glass. So where I'm going with this is, if you buy this Canon body, you start buying Canon glass, okay? Even if it's, you know, consumer grade glass, it's not the L series, but even their consumer grade glass is really clean. It's going to give you good images. So this is a good entry level body, or again, it's a second body, it's a backup. But as you progress in your photography, you know, you'll always you can replace the bodies, but you'll always have your Canon glass. So this is why I really recommend this body, because the accompanying glass is going to be spectacular. Okay, so this is a little bit long, but I just wanted to show you this value. And again, many people are getting into photography, and it's because of smartphones, right? It's because of the cameras in the iPhones or the Samsungs or some of these foreign manufacturers. They really like the image, and they say, wow, you know, I'd really like to explore this a little bit more. I would like to graduate past this smartphone camera, and they're looking to get into serious photography. Boom, here we go. This is where they come in right here for $299. This is a great stepping stone into serious photography. And again, I said, you know, these people, some people had I've had them for years, the $99 point and shoots, right? I took those overseas with me all the time in high humidity, high dust environments, because I never wanted to ruin a DSLR, so I took point and shoots forward with me. But in this case, again, this is, you know, for $299, you can take this into, you know, high humidity, high dust, whatever, because for $299, you know, it's, you know, it is what it is. You can, it's kind of expendable at that price. But again, if you've been shooting compacts, point and shoots, and you want to step up to serious photography, this is a great camera to do so. Okay, I just wanted to end it here. I've gone too long to begin with, and this is a very, very strong recommended buy. $299 at Walmart. Look for it in your area. Thank you.